Rising importance of corporate social responsibility. Rising importance of CSR, or why is corporate social responsibility important? The concept of companies acting responsibly is not new. In the recent years, with the growing focus on environmentalism and questions of ethics, CSR has begun to take on a stronger meaning. In the modern world, there is rising use of internet and it has resulted into serious blow to the public image of those companies who behaved irresponsibly and their operational scandals and abuses were publicized on social networks. Big businesses committing to social and environmental causes can make a big difference. A 2019 survey suggested that 77% of consumers motivated to give their business to companies committed to make the world a better place. CSR can increase the market share, reduce systemic risk, and even retain employees. We have used the words systemic risk and let us understand its meaning before proceeding further. Systemic risk is the situation wherein the entire sector or industry stream gets affected and suffers even by the downturn or collapse of a single big entity in the sector or industry. A good example of this risk is the financial crisis of 2008 when the collapse of the Lehman Brothers company led to the financial crisis that affected many countries around the world. After going through the meaning of systemic risk, you can very well understand that if a company follows CSR initiatives, the image of the company in the eyes of general public is improved and it reduces the impact of financial crises faced by other organizations in the sector or industry. The incidents like the 2013 Tower building collapse pushed companies to consider the impacts of their operation on society and the environment. The 2013 Dhaka garment factory collapse, also known as the Tower building collapse, resulted into the death of more than 1,000 people and injury to approximately 2,500 people. This building collapse led to widespread discussions about corporate social responsibility across global supply chains. Then consumers from different countries spoke out against unsafe working conditions found in the factory building. And people had expressed their anger at retailers that did not have any connections to that specific building but are known to source from factories located in Bangladesh. Companies that operate globally but have their headquarters in a rich country should also extend social responsibility initiatives to the poor countries from where they do outsourcing.
In 2013, on 23rd April, there were cracks in the Savar building. This building is located in Dhaka in Bangladesh. When the cracks appeared, the news was also flashed on the local news channel. The management of the factories had asked the workers to leave the building. In this was a building, 8-story building, in which there were certain shops and banks on the ground floors, and there were 5 garment factories in which more than 5,000 employees were working. Mostly the workers in the garment factories were female. When the management asked not to come up and leave the factories as there were cracks, then after that, on the same day, the owner of the building stated that the building is safe and asked the employees to come up for working on the next working day. On 24th April, the employees came up for working at about 8 a.m. shift. Then at about 9 a.m., the building collapsed within 2 minutes. It is reported that at the time of the collapse of the building, about 4,000, more than 4,000 workers, mostly the female, were working in these factories. This collapse of the building resulted into the death of more than 1,000 people, and about 2,500 workers were injured. The collapse of the building drew the attention of the public world over towards the poor working conditions of the employees in various factories all over the world, especially the Bangladesh. In this case, the factories were working for some foreign companies who were getting cloth manufactured from Bangladesh and were selling it in their own market like USA. So the public were very furious about the pure working conditions of those firms in those factories from where the products were being outsourced. That is, the people all over the world wanted that the foreign companies who outsource their products should also take care of the working conditions of the employees from where the products are being outsourced. So, from this, the concept of corporate social responsibility also increased to gain importance in future.
On the other side, the horse meat scandal, a food industry scandal in parts of Europe, affected many food retailers, including Tesco, the largest retailer in the United Kingdom. The biggest food fraud of 21st century led to the withdrawal of tens of millions of burgers and beef products across Europe. Due to this food scandal, Tesco's market value dropped by 360 million euro, and it also led to the dismissal of the supplier's ABP Food Group. CSR plays a great role in making brand publicity. When people hear about CSR activities by a company, they naturally, without thinking, develop a positive feeling for the brand, and this helps the organization to expand and flourish.
This was a food scandal which is known as 2013 horse, horse meat scandal. This scandal was reported in many countries of Europe. It was reported that a certain food was advertised to contain beef. It was advertised that it was containing beef. It came to light that these food products were not containing beef, but they were also containing horse meat. That is, the undeclared horse meat was found present instead of beef. In some cases, it was the product was containing 100% horse meat. The main problem was not with the horse meat, but with the harmful ingredients in the food products. For example, it was quite possible that oats horse meat might have been supplied in place of beef. You may be knowing that horse meat, sports horse are treated with a painkiller, which is known as phenylbutazone, which is a painkiller. But this is not beneficial and not to be used in food animals. So, when the people came to know that instead of beef, they were being provided with horse meat, And that horse meat could also be from some sports horse which is being given a painkiller which is not suitable for the human beings. It gave the impression that the wrong type of raw materials or food is being supplied to the public and the advertised products are not being supplied. It adversely affected the brand image as well as the brand value of many companies like Tesco. And because of the this meat scandal, the all the companies which were involved in this food scandal, their market share has dropped sharply and they also suffered a lot in the market share.
Means of practicing social responsibility. Companies implement socially responsible practices in different ways. Number one, corporate philanthropy. Company donations to charity in the form of cash, goods, and services. Number two, community volunteering. Company organized volunteer activities, for example, sometimes an employee receives pay for pro bono work for the benefit of the community or NGOs. Pro bono publico, usually shortened to pro bono, is a Latin phrase for professional work undertaken voluntarily and without payment. Number third, donation to charity based on product sales. These donations are linked to the sale of goods, for example, by promising to donate a part of the profit per product sold to a good cause. Fourth, company funded advocacy campaigns. Fifth, steps to improve environment. Many companies have chosen to reduce their carbon footprint or reducing the use of non-recyclable materials, for example, plastic, holding tree planting events, taking substantial steps to clean up wastewater from their production facilities over and above what is required by law. 6. Improving working conditions and well being of employees. Other businesses choose to practice social responsibility simply by improving the working conditions and well being of employees. They may adopt initiatives such as providing adequate period for rest, reasonable working hours, minimum wages, providing fitness facilities, or discount housing to their employees. Seventh, company funded behavior change campaigns. All the above are forms of corporate social responsibility initiatives. Companies generally do not have a profit motive when participating in corporate philanthropy and community volunteering. On the other hand, the remaining corporate social initiatives can be examples of course marketing in which there is both a societal interest and profit motive. Examples of socially responsible corporations. Number one, the Coca Cola Company contributes $1 million annually to many environmental, educational, and humanitarian organizations. Number two, Bose, the electronics manufacturer, runs several charitable foundations which are working in the area such as fight against drug abuse, improving medical care of poor people, refugee aid, disaster control, creating better educational opportunities. Number three, IKEA. In the recent years, it has taken steps to help bring light and renewable energy to refugee camps across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Fourth, a small example is from Apple Incorporated. The company removed the plastic wrap from the packaging of the iPhone 13 to reduce plastic usage. Ben and Jerry's are known world over for their ice cream flavors. Their corporate social responsibility initiatives include supporting sustainable agricultural practices, ethical treatment of dairy cows, and development of its employees. 6. Salesforce is an American cloud based software company. It has developed what it calls the 111 integrated corporate philanthropy model. The company dedicates 1% of its equity, 1% of its product, and 1% of employees' time back to the community. Sam Johnson and Johnson, the medical device corporation, has spotted charity projects that provide clean water in those areas of the world where it is in short supply. It has made a firm commitment to move towards obtaining their energy needs from renewable energy sources such as wind power. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.